Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of predictions using experimental data. This is standard 7.6C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 35 of the 2022 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we've got a survey, shows that 8 out of 20 homeowners had cable. So we're going to predict if there were 320 homeowners, how many would have cable. So we don't have any A, B, C, or D to choose from. We're going to have to figure this out on our own. But we should be thinking if we see 3 different numbers, this does look like a ratio. So we can actually find the unit rate. We can find a ratio. Both of them, those strategies will get us the same answer. So let's start with the ratio, proportion here, because that's going to be pretty obvious for most of us. So let's first make this a proportion. And so we need to always be careful with our labels. All right, so they tell us 8 people have cable out of 20 total. All right, so we're going to kind of set up this fraction here. We're going to set up the proportion. It's going to look like an equivalent fraction here. So if there were 320 homeowners, so that's my total. 320 total. All right, so let's just put X. How many had cable? Right, that's my missing. X number had cable. All right, so if we set it up like this, we've got 2 options using this proportion. We could do a little cross multiplication, right? So let's do that. So 8 times 320. 320 times 8. Let's see, that's going to be 16, 24, 25. All right, so that's 2560 should equal this, which is just going to be 20x, because we don't know what that x is. So we've got 20x equals 2560. If we want to isolate this variable, we've got to divide both sides by 20. And then we'll have our x, right? So let's go ahead and divide this 2560 by 20. Let's see, 20 goes into 25 once. Bringing down just one number at a time. Goes into 56 twice. So that's 40. 160. All right, 2 goes into 16 8 times. So 20 goes into 160 8 times. And that's going to get me no remainder. So it's going to be 128. So here's the other option we could have done with that, right? We could have done 8 over 20 equals x over 320. And we could have been thinking, okay, equivalent fractions. What can I multiply 20 by? 20 by what to get me up to 320? Well, ignore the zeros for a moment. Just think 2 times what makes 32? Well, that's times 16. All right. So if I multiply by 16 over 16, I could have gotten up to that 320. So guess what 16 times 8 is going to be? And well, if you said 128, you are correct. All right, so either one of those choices is going to get you the 128. We also could have done a unit fraction, right, or the unit rate. We could have done 8 over 20. We could have reduced that, and that would have been 4 over 10, which means we've got 4/10. So we could have multiplied that 320 times 0.4, and guess what we would have gotten? 128. That's another option. So let's just bubble it in. Anyway, you look at it, you're going to get this 128. So you got 2 digits to the right of the decimal. You don't need either of those. You got 4 digits to the left. And so we're just going to put our 128 right here. You don't need the zeros. And obviously, we're just going to make sure we bubble in our digits correctly. And our answer is 128.